Now, we would like to move on to the next program, Overseas Organizations Speech. The first speaker is Mr. David Young, Vice President, Technology and Solutions of ATIS and Managing Director, NextG Alliance. Mr. Young, please.
Thank you. And thank you to the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications and to the Beyond 5G Program Promotion Consortium for inviting me to speak here at this important conference. My name is David Young, and I'm ATIS's Vice President of Technology and Managing Director of the NextG Alliance. It is my honor to be here today to provide an overview of the NextG Alliance and some of the work that we're doing. The NGA began its journey to 6G back in 2020 when 5G was just starting to be deployed at scale. Although 6G was a full decade away, ATIS recognized the need to start thinking about and working on what comes next. The NextG Alliance was launched that year to develop a vision for 6G that would advance North American wireless technology leadership over the next decade. In 3 years, the NextG Alliance has become the acknowledged voice of 6G for North America. There were 3 foundational goals for the launch of the NextG Alliance. The first was to bring together a diverse ecosystem consisting of private sector firms, including mobile operators, equipment vendors, hyperscalers, research groups, as well as academic and government, to collaborate together to position North America as a global leader for NextG technologies. The second goal was to create a comprehensive model for success built on North American 6G technology developments, research and development needs, standard goals, and market readiness. And third, to develop strategies that would lead to the rapid commercialization and adoption of NextG technologies across domestic and global markets. The NextG Alliance moved quickly to create a North American roadmap to 6G that defines the path for connecting every stage of the life cycle and progressing to a 2030 vision. We established leadership priorities that consider both the societal and economic needs across North America and the technology strengths that North America will contribute to the rest of the world. And the NGA identified 6 audacious goals that describe the top priorities for North America's contribution and leadership in future global standards, deployments, products, operations, and services. The 6G lifecycle is composed of research initiatives, development and manufacturing, standards leadership, market readiness, commercialization, and the eventual realization of a 6G marketplace. Research creates opportunities and establishes the capabilities as well as the limitations of the technologies available as input to the next phase. To advance North American wireless leadership, it was important for NGA to connect applied research opportunities and priorities to the goals of 6G commercialization. As 3GPP begins work on 6G, it is critical that our priorities, as reflected in the work done by NGA, takes a leadership role in the development of 6G specifications and standards. But the work doesn't stop at standardization. We also see a proactive market readiness stage, where good policies and incentivized innovation can set the stage for a robust 6G marketplace by laying the groundwork for rapid commercialization, deployment, and adoption. Our ultimate goal is the realization of 6G into a robust North American and global marketplace by the end of the decade. Looking at the NextG Alliance's member-driven structure, we start at the top with the Full Member Group, or FMG, which is responsible for setting the strategy and direction for the organization. It is made up of senior executives from our more than 90 member organizations. In the center, we have the Steering Group, which consists of technology leaders and experts who direct research and development, standards, and commercialization priorities, and oversee the implementation of the strategic direction established by the FMG. This includes overseeing and providing direction for the working groups. Our 6 working groups are shown at the bottom of the chart. From the left, we start with the National 6G Roadmap Working Group, which is responsible for developing and maintaining a vision for 6G, a North American 6G roadmap, and a timeframe for 6G. Next is the Technology Working Group, whose mission is to identify, assess, steer the landscape of 6G research and technology areas. The Green G Working Group has a mission to drive the reduction of energy consumption and environmental impact of 6G and investigate ways that 6G can enable other industries to reduce their environmental impacts. The Societal and Economic Needs Working Group's mission is to identify and characterize the 6G social and economic drivers and make recommendations for how these factors should influence 6G prioritization for North American research, development, and deployment. The Spectrum Working Group's mission is to address spectrum access, management, policy recommendations, and long-term needs to support the 6G use cases. And finally, the Applications Working Group's mission is to identify, assess, and steer the landscape of next-G applications and use cases, including their requirements and KPIs. In addition, we have the Marketing Communications and Policy Committees, which report to the steering group and full member group. And on the left side of the slide, you see the Research Council. The Research Council is made up of representatives from both academic and commercial research organizations. They are responsible for identifying research priorities for engagement with government and academic research communities. They support the NGA in prioritizing research objectives that will advance the development of a comprehensive North American research strategy. They help inform NGA about sources of research funding, including from government and industry. And they provide technical leadership and support for workshops focused on 6G research topics. The Research Council and Technology Working Groups looked at a comprehensive set of technologies. For each, they identified why the technology is important, what will be needed from it for 6G. They also identified the applications, use cases, or network capabilities that would be enabled by each technology. These collectively provide a compass for North America's innovation platforms. The Research Council then provided their top 10 list of research areas that should be prioritized to achieve success in 6G. This list should look familiar to all of you, since many of the speakers yesterday and today have gone through these in some detail. But they are security, trust, and resilience, new radio components and antennas, network convergence and integration, AI, ML, spectrum sharing and enhanced spectrum access, radio access technologies, joint communications and sensing, architecture and control of open disaggregated systems, sustainability, and cloud-native networks and distributed cloud. All of these technologies will be critical for enabling the applications that will affect all aspects of life, society, and industry. 6G applications will help improve the quality of everyday living. For example, service robots may provide healthcare, caregiving, delivery services, and intelligent travel assistance. Customer experiences and interfaces with technology will be improved by dynamic and expanded 6G applications. Enhancements are expected to expand human interactions with devices, from voice assistants to service robots and systems to provide enriched immersive virtual, augmented, and mixed reality experiences. Applications addressing critical roles are intended to advance the quality of technology in and around healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, and public safety through the use of autonomous robots. Autonomous robots powered by 6G technology, networks, and applications are envisioned to naturally interact with humans to enhance productivity, maintain essential operations, and operate in hazardous environments. These applications may use digital twins, where humans interact naturally with robots in the digital space to implement actions or tasks in the physical world. 6G applications can assist in achieving high-level societal goals, such as digital equity, where all individuals and communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in our society, democracy, and economy. Digital equity is necessary for civic and cultural participation, employment, lifelong learning, and access to essential services like public safety. Sustainability is a fundamental objective for 6G and will be considered in all network design to reduce CO2 emissions and improve energy efficiency. which brings us back to the audacious goals that the NGA established as North American priorities back at the beginning of the process. And as you can see, these have been reflected in everything the NGA has done. Over the past 2 years, the NextG Alliance has produced a comprehensive library that provides a 6G compass for North America. These 23 reports lay out the foundation for Green G, provide the North American roadmap, details 6G technologies, explores in depth the 6 audacious goals, examines spectrum options for 6G, and more. The QR code on the screen will take you to the library where these papers are available for downloading. Now I would like to highlight a couple of reports in particular for your attention. The first is the 6G roadmap for vertical industries. This report explores the demand side of the ecosystem. It focuses on 8 industry verticals and their technology expectations and expected uses for 6G. The verticals examined are agriculture, automotive, education/gaming/entertainment, e-health, industrial/manufacturing, mining, public safety, and smart cities. The report, which outlines the issues and opportunities associated with 6G for these verticals, has the following goals. First, translate these vertical industry needs to technology outcomes. Going forward, we want to build on the NGA's initial vertical industry engagements to translate future 6G adopter perspectives into technical needs, aiming for strong 6G market adoption in these areas. Next, we see a need to target shared investment in 6G proofs of concept and test beds. A shared investment model in breakthrough areas such as AI, digital twins, multisensory applications, and others will allow the ICT and vertical industries to participate in cooperative POCs. And finally, we want to connect and advance these North American vertical needs and use cases with other regions of the world. The other paper I'd like to highlight is one of our most recent, Evolution of Sustainability Indicators for Next Generation Radio Network Technologies, which discusses current and future sustainability KPIs. It also looks at the technology enablers that will be critical for allowing the transition from a sustainably aware to sustainably native NextG systems. The report also introduces 3 crucial dimensions that provide an enhanced approach for implementing sustainability KPIs. The 3 paradigms for sustainability native 6G are as follows. The first, observability is needed to track and report environmental indicators through the 6G system in real time. Next, choice must be considered to empower carriers to deploy sustainable systems and for users to exercise preferences in selecting 6G technologies and services. And finally, the circular economy must be considered in every part of the end-to-end 6G system, with a focus on creating renewable products, reusing resources, and recovering materials and components at the end of life. In order to be successful in driving NGA's vision for 6G into 3GPP, we need to build support for our priorities through collaboration with other regional groups, which is why we've entered into MOUs with the 6GIA in Europe, the Beyond 5G Promotion Consortium here in Japan, the 6G Forum in Korea, and the Bharat 6G Alliance in India. We see 2024 as an important year for deepening our collaboration work with these groups and appreciate the opportunity for discussion that this conference has created. Ultimately, collaboration is the key to success, and through our collaboration model, the NextG Alliance is advancing an action-oriented agenda. Our foundational documents lead to recommended priorities and actions. Prioritization of 6G research needs are aligned with the NGA vision and North American 6G needs. We believe that this will help increase the velocity of 6G research and collaboration across all regions and the entire ecosystem. This holistic approach will leverage research outcomes to promote new opportunities, which will benefit all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yang. The next speaker is Mr. Colin Wilcock, Chairman of the Governing Board, 6GIA. Mr. Wilcock, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we've heard about the 6G activities in North America, and we will be hearing about what's going on in India in the next presentation. I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about what's going on in Europe. So I'm representing the 6GIA, which is an industry association which tries to bring together all the key actors, the big vendors, Ericsson, Nokia, Huawei, whatever, the operators from around the world, Docomo, Deutsche Telekom, Orange, but also the research institutes and the academics, together with some of the verticals as well, the people who hopefully will be our new business partners going forward. So we have an association with many of the key players, not just from Europe, from around the world, and we're trying to leverage that to develop what 6G technology needs to be to solve the world's problems. Like the previous speaker, in Europe we have developed many white papers, many details of our thinking, which are publicly available on the link here. And these include the vision of what 6G should be, how we transition from 5G to 6G, and key strategies for trying to actually implement these smart networks and services. But as well as taking time to discuss and create white papers, another critical side to the association is actual fundamental research. So together with the European Commission, the 6GIA runs the European level 6G research. We have a research program that is called 6G Smart Networks and Services, or 6G SNS for short. And this is a major program that will be running for 7 or 8 years, trying to create the critical technologies for 6G. Somewhere around 1.8 billion euros will be invested in research and innovation, with those resources coming equally from government funding and from the private side. So this is quite a major undertaking, and hopefully will provide some key results. This program has been going for some time, so several years. So we already have quite a large number of projects running, which I will talk about a bit in the future. But we had the first call where we had a group of 35 projects which started the beginning of 2023, so they are up and running. And we have a second set of projects which have started this year. So in total, we have over 60 projects currently running, and with an investment of nearly 400 million euros of public funding. There are some small pie graphs on the right-hand side. Now, I apologize if they're too small to read, but one of the key things they show, which is perhaps a little bit surprising, is that even in these first projects, there's actually quite a wide range of participation from key verticals. So these non-telecom actors, these new industries, these media, smart agriculture, industry, automotive, these people who we hope will provide the new business opportunities for these cellular networks. But beyond that, the people that we hope will digitize our society, our industry, and make it competitive. They're not waiting until the technology is created, which in the 5G case was maybe the case that we developed the first part of 5G, maybe not talking enough to those vertical industries. Indeed, it's really only with 5G Advanced, perhaps, that we have the key features we need to support those vertical industries. But in 6G, they seem to be prepared to get involved from the very beginning, from the first projects. And I would suggest that's actually quite important and quite central to 6G being a success. We have strong hopes for 5G, and as I think has been mentioned by a number of speakers up till now, we shouldn't give up on 5G now. 5G is only in the middle of its life. So quite what 5G will become, quite what it will attain, we cannot say today. But 5G needs to be a success for 6G, and the first signs are this work with the vertical industries that we started in 5G is bearing fruit. It will take time for 5G to become established, but already those same industries are looking and working with 6G, and that is a good sign. We have a third call, which is open at the moment. Everyone's free to look on the web and see if they're interested to get involved. So we have the projects up and running. We have been looking at fundamental research. What sort of things have been looked at? What are people actually trying to research? And what I've tried to do is I've tried to put the big general areas. And you'll note that a lot of these are actually the same that we've seen in the white papers or the areas we should look in 6G. So there's already a lot of dialogue, a lot of common understanding internationally on 6G, which is a good thing. Not that we shouldn't work to try and improve that. Hopefully this conference, and thank you to the organisers for inviting me here, I think this conference is an important step in getting that international collaboration working. So that's wonderful. So I don't want to go through the list of things here. Everyone here can read a slide. The only point I would make is there's quite a range of things being looked at. So it's not just radio systems. It's not just the RAN we're talking about. There are projects looking end to end. So all the way from devices and microelectronics at the bottom corner, all the way up to the whole system architecture and applications. And this is perhaps also a little bit different to 5G, where we more concentrated on the radio access network and the core, and we left the others. We left the rest of the sort of application layer and everything else to a later stage to develop. So here we're really trying to develop the whole system or network of networks within this research program. Clearly, there's also issues with sustainability and AI and ML that we need to bring in. And what we're trying to do is not just develop that technology, but also apply that technology. So once we have developed some of the key technology, work with those verticals, with those new industries to see what can we achieve with that at a very early stage with the proof of concepts. And then once we've developed in isolation the key concepts, try and put the pieces together, try and build that jigsaw puzzle, trying to create a complete system solution. Helping in this, we have flagship projects. So you might have heard of Hexa-X and the follow-on Hexa-X2. These are the European 6G flagship projects, and they are there trying to indeed put all the pieces together, try and be a central point where we can develop what the vision, what the technology for 6G should be. And again, the outputs from these projects is public. You can go onto the website and see that. They've worked on things like use cases. What are the key things we wish to actually achieve with 6G? Some of the key technology building blocks. And bless whoever is sneezing. So we have a large number of projects already started. We will be continuing having new projects every year. We are looking at some of the key issues. We have these flagship projects, which are trying to put the pieces together. Broadly, this program is tried to be put into a series of phases. So clearly we can't do everything at the same time. And as I said, this is a major program that doesn't run for 1 or 2 or 3 years. There really is an 8-year plan here, or a 10-year plan. And as was said, this is unfortunately the timescale we need to use in the telecoms world. The systems are so complicated that it is 10 years from the first research to the actual deployed products. And this roadmap tries to cover that time. So we start with trying to understand what the societal and business needs will be, what the fundamental technologies to underpin 6G will be. And then we try and look at how we can apply, how we can put those things together and build a system. And then finally trying to actually put all the pieces together and optimize them, go through standardization, go through application to verticals to make it a success. And all the time we need to be aware of how standardization is going on at ITU with IMT 2030, how 3GPP standardization is going. So SA is starting this year with workshops and work. Next year, RAN will start with specification. And that all needs to be aligned with the activities so that we get real input into those standards. And obviously, WRC and spectrum is also a key thing we need to take into account. And then at the bottom of the slide, maybe the thing to concentrate on is this is developing a European view, maybe a little bit beyond European view. But what we need to do is we need to work together internationally. The reason for being here today, one of the key reasons for this conference, is we need to work together to make 6G. No single region or country can do this alone. So in many ways, there's already a lot of collaboration built in to this smart networks and services activity. So it is run by my association, 6G Industry Association, together with the European Commission. But obviously the 6G Industry Association has many members who all have an opinion and input. But beyond that, we have something called the State Representative Group, which represents all of the European countries. And they also have input into the programme and say what they think we should be looking at. And we have stakeholder groups, so we try and look at these vertical industries. We don't try and pull them all in as members of our association. That will become unmanageable. But we have direct relationships and collaborate with many of the key industry players in automotive, like 5G-AA, or in industry, 5G ACIA, or space with European Space Agency. So we have these collaborations so that we can bring these expertise in, make sure that we have the right areas to research, and make sure we have the right partners to actually get the right solutions. And then lastly, international partnerships. And here again, we see this as vital for achieving that goal of one 6G standard and a standard for the whole world. As was mentioned for Next G Alliance, we have signed MOUs with many parts of the world, Japan, Korea, China, Brazil, India, all important, all things we would like to take forward. So we are working for a global standard. We see that as a key priority for what we are trying to do. We have also got joint research projects with many parts of the world. So we have a joint research projects currently with North America. There are calls for Japan and Korea, which are open now. So we see this as vital in this pre-standardization phase. So soon standardization will be starting, and we need to be aware of that. But there is great value in having some common view before we get to standardization. And the rationale here is anyone who's had the pleasure of working in 3GPP knows it's a very complex environment. You have 400 or 500 organizations in the room, and they all have their own opinion. And to come to some consensus, and after all, we need to come to some consensus. To some consensus is very, very challenging. So if we come into the room with not 400 different opinions, but 2 or 3 candidates, which we then discuss, it's a far easier place to get to that standard. And it matters because we need the standard on time, but also on quality. It needs to meet the quality requirements as well. And that means we need time to develop these standards. They cannot be made ridiculously quickly. They take time. That's what we need when we need a quality standard. But that pre-standardization consensus makes that far easier. So we're working through those calls, those bilateral calls. We have bilateral MOUs. We have multilateral MOUs already in place for certain areas, and also through dissemination at events like this, which we think are important. So we are investing in trying to make global collaboration work. Just as a last slide, maybe looking at some of the areas we think are key or very important for collaboration. And this is just off the top of my head. It's by no means an exhaustive list. But we do see things like sustainability as something where the world needs to work together. Spectrum is clearly something we need to discuss and learn from best examples. Microelectronics is an exciting area with certain parts of the world. AI/ML with training sets and other things is obviously important. This whole sort of security and trustworthiness, whether that should be more resilience, as we were discussing earlier, I don't know. But that sort of whole area of trying to make sure we don't just have systems that work sometimes, but we have reliable systems we can build our digital economy on. That, I think, is a vital thing. And then, of course, we have cloud solutions, and we also have open solutions, ORAN, and everything else that we need to look at. So that's a menu of possible areas where we could collaborate. I think the key message I'm trying to give is Europe is busy doing 6G research, but is more than open to collaborate, indeed is searching for collaboration, and would welcome any further collaboration with other parts of the world. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilcock. Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Pathak Rajesh Kumar, Director General, Bharat 6 Alliance, New Delhi, India. Mr. Kumar, please.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Government of Japan, 5G, this forum. So I think already previous to me, you have heard about the alliance part of America and Europe. This Bharat 6G alliance is a very new alliance. And even you heard our colleague from India about the call of proposals and various technologies related to 6G. So I won't be discussing technology further. It's working, yeah. So I will be covering in just brief what are the various ingredients or already actions taken by the Government of India, industry, and others for the promotion of technologies, applications, and what the various conducive environment within the country. So I'll be just covering this in these context. And the first one is you can just see that these are the two years, 2018 and 2023, in which our broadband subscription have been at 860 million. It's not fixed, I think that is mistake. Smartphone users, that is the average data consumption 20 GB per month from 18 to 23, the figures are. And same way, I think, fixed broadband is just 38 million, that is below. Smartphone user, that's 930 million. So this indicates that there is a lot of potential for the technology to do a lot, and India has utilized this wireless technology for its economic benefit it's exploited mostly this wireless part, and that's why you will just see that out of 860 million broadband, 38 is only fixed. So I think there is a lot of scope also to further work how this 5G, 6G can leverage. This is like infrastructure. As far as India is concerned, we have about 1 million telecom towers, about 2.3 million base stations we call it, and 5G, which was launched about 16 months back, and in this 16 months we have crossed more than 100 million subscribers, and there are 400K towers. And 37 lakhs, we call it, 37 lakhs kilometer fiber is there, and 11 million square feet data centers we have. So these are the various already existing infrastructure available in India. Why it's not? For this 4G and 5G rollout. If you just see that with the help of technology, especially rollout of this 5G and 4G, the e-commerce has reached, these are the figures for 2014 and 23-24, so 60 billion. Same way digital economy size, it has been now more than 400 billion. Online banking penetration has been now 45%, and digital transaction volume 110. I think mobile technology has been used for banking to the great extent that even I think a street vendor with the help of QR codes can make payment, receive payment. So it means I think we have utilized mobile. So if you are having a mobile, you can say that you have even a bank account as well. So we have linked this bank and mobile together for the benefit of the common man. I am not referring to otherwise we have been using in cities. These are the various enabling policies from the government of India. First, let us talk about the patent and standard, which is very much important. We have TSDSI and actually Bharat 6G Alliance, other than the government, because they have the rule for driving the global standard. For standard participation, even government is funding startups, academia, and certain R&D institutions who can't make, because there has to be consistent participation in standard for producing any impact in global standardization process. Another scheme is funding for design. So this design part is basically we have more than, I think that will be subsequently covering, that even if you do design of a product or services, then there is a certain incentive as well on once you sell it. So we call it design linked production incentive scheme. That has been in telecommunication, that has been electronics, and in fact most of our mobile phones are being manufactured within the country under the PLI scheme. We call it production linked incentive scheme, and that's running about 13 sectors. Telecommunication and electronics is one of them. With this, we are helping a lot in this global value chain. Pilots and proof of concept also, this is the government is promoting funded as well as, I mean, paid basis as well as by the government funding also. Pilots of new developed technology, one can say like ORAN, we have funded for the development of ORAN, and that's being tested in the government environment. So these are the various opportunities. Just I am indicating that how this technology can make the changes to Indian, this smart city. There are more than 100 smart cities are there, 230K factories, 3,000 mining licenses, 130 plus airports. So these are the various opportunities which can be leveraged for the even 5G to start with. That is being already leveraged in the sense with the help of others, industry 4.0, etc. But there is a opportunity for others also to support India, and 25,000 plus tech startups. In fact, we have more than 100K startups right now working within the technology domain. These are the fund required which is already existing. I am referring to. So there is more than 100 million per annum funds being given in telecommunication sector, and 5% comes from Universal Service Obligation Fund for the development of telecom technologies for their pilots. And recently we have set up 100 use cases on 5G and beyond across India at educational institutions. So it's for the supporting 5G and plus 6G. And what is important that it's not engineering institutions, they are agriculture also, they are healthcare also. So it means we are focusing more on the development of applications and use cases, and which we can take them to 6G. Quantum technology, I think my colleague, he has given a lot of things on quantum and blockchain, so I won't go, but there is a national quantum mission with 1 billion fund available. Indian chipset mission also, so there is a 10 billion fund available under this mission for semiconductor fabs, assembly, mounting, as well as there is a design linked incentive scheme itself that if you produce a chip and subsequently you sell also, there is some incentives. 6G R&D taking is already, we have certain labs on 6G within academic institutions, and for the first time we are linking from the very beginning this academic institutions funding through the test beds or R&D to industry startups. That it should not be purely academic exercise of producing thesis or writing reports or white paper. It should be linked with the IPRs and how we can utilize this funding for the generation of IPRs, standard essential patents, and contribute in the technology development along with the global players and global forums. So I think this I covered what are the various things. Once it comes the Bharat 6G, so it is it's based on affordability, sustainability, and ubiquitous. So I think we have seen that the same hexa, there is a now ubiquitous word is written. Ubiquity is that was the contributions at ITU from India. Same way I think we contributed our requirement 6G vision statement in coverage, interoperability, sustainability, and I am happy that with the help of the global players and others, and that is part of ITU requirement document. This vision is based on the 6 task force, and anyone can download from a website, our website. They are access network. The first is multi-platform, next generation access mostly. Devices will be another. Spectrum policy, because this gives you that how India is thinking on this important 6G technology, and it is in the phases that it will be composed of two phases, phase 1, 23, 24, and next will be the subsequent years will be on the deployment and others in line with the ITU document. So we have like international standards and innovative solutions is basically use case. So I think we are very open for the working with the world. The 6G objectives, and this is the objectives of Government of India, and Bharat 6G Alliance basically will be working to how to implement it. So I think we'll be working with all the stakeholders on this implementation part of the vision document. Facilitate and finance research and development design of 6G technologies, enable India to become a leading global supplier of IP, product solutions of affordable 6G. So my thrust will be on affordable 6G. How can we make a 6G, or dream a 6G with the help of which we can connect a very far-flung rural areas, remote areas. So it should not be a system that we can't cover them. Though ubiquitous, we say that in ubiquity, automatically drone and HAPS and satellite all will be coming. But however, we have to make it affordable also for a common man so that he can support, we can utilize these benefits from this. And deploy 6G technology along with the world as early as possible and enable inclusive and enhancement in quality of living experience of the citizens. So that's the, once it's come the standard part, so I think it's the more or less same. But again, our thought process has been that how we can do this technology part for enabling rural education and distance learning, because that has been the one of the priorities. So we are working as per the visions of the government that how can we work together with them. So emergency, natural calamities, weather, pandemic, public safety, hospital connectivity, shared resources, and more important have been even technology beneficial for a common person. So societal needs also we have to take care of. So I think in Bharat 6G Alliance, we will be connecting with the social groups also, because we have to bring them also to know what are the various challenges, what are the problem areas, then only how can this 6G technology will solve them. Now it's come the very last, this Bharat 6G Alliance I have been referring to. So basically this is a facilitate realization of Bharat 6G vision statements, whatever I have discussed. And those 6 task force reports along with the 6G vision document that is available on our website. We have one white paper also on some technology. So this is an industry-led body consisting of companies, academia, research institutions, standard development organizations, but more important is that it's facilitated by government also. So even the government sit on our board. So they are part of the governing council, and it's not just Department of Telecommunication, but we have included other user department and funding institutions as well. And basically we will understand the business and societal needs of 5G Advanced and 6G. So it's not that we'll be just jumping on the 6G, but I think we'll be just taking steps in a phases, as I told, and working closely with the startups. That's more important, because I think one of the lessons we have learned that huge cases in case of 5G have been delayed. So I think we have utilized the natural evolution of 5G from 4G, whereas revolution part, those 2 applications are not really being used, URLC, MMTC. So how can in the 6G, we start from the very beginning, the various use cases we are referring to for education, agriculture, hospitals, to our benefits or common benefits. So we are giving lot of, one can say, emphasis on development of use cases. And I'm telling you just one use case, we have funded more than 126 startups in industry, not I'm referring to academia, and from 15 million grants for development of those use cases. One is very, this one that you can, with the help of your phone, you know about tuberculosis. A simple application is there, one can say that maybe the AI or something like that, but just with the help of this you can know that whether, I think what is the chance, maybe up to 90% accuracy, and subsequently it will reduce the chances, especially in rural areas, that whether the person is suffering from a disease or not. So this can be utilized, our technology, for the betterment of society. So I think maybe I may be running time, so I will. This Bharat 6G Alliance, there is a 6G Apex Council within the government. So within the government there are 4 post academia, R&D, industry, and they will be working in that Apex Council. So whatever is discussed in Bharat 6G Alliance, that will go as an input to government, because funding part is still within the governments. So because we have to fund startups, so naturally we can't do. Though industry, they can do on their own. Then below we have the governing council, expert committees, working group, and coalition partners like we are here. And we have the first our collaboration with the NextG. So, and there are certain working groups. So to start with, we have started with working group, and so these are the again 7 working groups. Important have been that spectrum. So we have already given our spectrum roadmap on the task forces, but how to implement it in the phases. So this spectrum working group will decide what are the various work program or study item in phases to achieve that, and how we can work with the government, different wings of the government, because spectrum is such a complex subject that it's not within a particular one department. There are so many users. So we'll be working with them. Device sensors and manufacturing ecosystem, how to create even manufacturing systems or sensors from the very beginning. Otherwise 6G, perhaps it means that sense has been added. So how to even make available the sensors also. So how to work on the chip part, or and technology, I think we are aware, applications, green and sustainability, these are I think known words. Last is very important, revenue stream. It's not 6G use case, revenue stream. Why an operator will take a decision to invest in spectrum? So for an operator to make a case, it's important that we discuss at alliance level that what is important for the government to do, that he invest in the spectrum or resources. Because otherwise he has to buy a costly spectrum and he won't be able to utilize. As I told that, like in the 5G, if you are just utilizing high speed, enhanced mobile broadband, so that's not the real purpose, and he won't be making the money. So this is, I think, my thought process. Perhaps, yeah, no, I think we have more. So we have MOU with the NextG Alliance, and the NextG Alliance is here. So that was just to explore collaboration opportunities, support on a common vision, and enabling naturally digital inclusion. So I am here. Why not working? Sorry. Yeah. So this is last slide, possible areas of collaboration. So I am here that any institutions like 6G, IA, 5G, others beyond 5G, we can have. So these are the just indicative that it can be there. One can have the just aligning research and development activities. Trust, security, and resilience is very important. Support a common 6G vision, creating secure, trusted infrastructure, resilient supply chain. Promote joint research, proof of concept, encourage and develop collaborative activities, including exchange of ideas and expertise, exchange of information on respective work program in the domain and mutual trust, and collaboration in development of various studies. Naturally, that will be done with like-minded partners. So with this, I would like to thank you. And this is the website, bharat6galliance.com, and all the details are available. So thank you once again, organizers. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. Thank you.